Welcome to Wednesday. What am I going to be so excited to hear? Who loves alpacas? I love alpacas. Send me all the alpaca things. Send me a real alpaca in the mail, please. Today's going to be chill. I'm sorry you clicked on clickbait. I know it says Wild Wednesday, but I woke up with inexplicable knee pain today, and it's been kind of off all day, and then it's 9 p.m. here right now, and when it hits 6 p.m., all of a sudden, I just had like such a mood slump, so we're gonna take it chill. It's gonna be not too wild. But I do feel like this is going to be the finale to our leftover youtiao dough trilogy. I think we need to get rid of that little bit of dough so I can have some peace of mind. Where are you? Oh, this needs to go in the freezer. Off some of this cheese today too. Wasn't a big fan of it. What else can we put? What else can we make? We'll think about it. We'll think about it. Anyway, yes, happy Wednesday. Hi, Singapore. This is my go to sleep outfit right now. Please, this is my body telling me to please go to bed. But let's cook off this dough. The kitchen is so bright today. Is it too bright? I put up some artificial lights because I was looking back on some of our earlier lives and the footage is really crappy. When I start walking away, the footage gets really grainy. But if it's too bright, you let me know and I'll turn off the lights and then we can just talk in the dark. Hi, Vancouver. Great, you guys like the brightness. Yeah, I need a little bit of bright. Maybe this is better than sunlight. I didn't go outside today, I don't know why. It was a perfect 63 degrees Fahrenheit and I didn't go outside and who knows why? I don't know why. It's been a weird day. It was fine, relatively low stress. I didn't get a lot of things done, so maybe that's starting to catch up to me in terms of that really weird feeling of guilt of not having been productive enough that day. Who knows, man? Who knows? What should we do with this dough, guys? Not a lot left. As you can see, we've been eating through it. We've made 3 meals out of this already. And Aaron ate the leftovers of the pizza for lunch today, so it's been pretty great. I think, you know how yesterday the pizza, somebody said it looked like a huge English muffin? What if we just made 2 baby English muffins? We let them rise a little bit and then we cook off some toppings that we can put in there and then we can just chat while we wait for them to proof a little. Because today I didn't take out the dough ahead of time, so it's pretty cold. It's still pretty stretchy, but it's gonna take a while for it to come up to temp, which is why I think we're gonna make 2 baby, should we make 3 baby English muffins? Tiny little ones? Tell me in the chat box, do you want to see 2 normal-ish English muffins or do you want to see 3 baby English muffins? Hi, Winnipeg. Hi, Australia. 3, please. Hi, Perth. 3! What's going up top? I don't know. Yes. Yes, English muffins. All right, the vote is 3, guys. We're going to make 3 baby muffins. Thank you for your input. We're going to just eyeball it. 1, 2, that's it. And what I think I'm going to do is bring the cut edges together and just kind of tuck it all into that little bottom piece so that you have a little, almost like a steamed bun looking thing, but this is going to go on the bottom. And I'll throw just a tiny touch of flour because I want a little bit of traction on the board. If you throw too much flour on your board, all you're going to do with your ball of dough is just roll it around. It's not going to gain any traction. What I'm trying to do is taking one finger because it's a very tiny bun, and I'm just trying to tuck one edge of it to the other and roll it and kind of glue them together so that the left side is kind of gluing itself to the right side. And then I'm going to turn the dough 90 degrees, and I'm going to do that same motion again. And this way we're just kind of pulling the little tiny baby dough, oh my god, it's so cute, taut enough that the surface is smooth and tight, like a freshly Botoxed lip, and the bottom is self-sealing, so that I should have put a piece of wet paper towel underneath my cutting board so that it doesn't move. Now I have to use my stomach to bumper it. But yeah, after a couple of rounds, you'll see that it's really nice and cute and tight. My camera sucks, but there's tiny little blistery bubbles because this dough is actually very well formed. Lots of nice gluten structure. And the bottom is a little bit of a kind of gluey, tucked seams. And we're just gonna let that rest for a little bit. I'll dust the container a wee bit, shake it around so that all the flour is evenly coating the bottom, no naked spots. And we'll do the same to the other pieces of dough. Guys, I love dough. Do you love dough? If you love dough, you've come to the right place. We can just all fawn over dough. 3 days in a row. June, how do you feel about being named after a month? I was thinking about it. I think I'd like to be called February. I think you're right. February is a much more beautiful name. I was really mad about being named June. June is not my legal name. June is my English name alias because nobody can pronounce my Chinese name. And when I immigrated to the United States, my dad decided to give me the English name June. And my Chinese name does start with a J, but doesn't really sound anything like June. And the reason why my dad chose it is because he was born in June, and his Chinese name has a character that is spelled very similar to the month of June. And so in a way, he was just living vicariously through his daughter's English renaming. And I was a little bit bitter about it for a lot of my young life. But you know what? What's in a name? You know me as June now, and that is who I am. And there are parts of our selves that we don't like, and there are parts that we like, and it changes through the years, and that's that. Now we have another baby English bun. Cute. Wow, this is adorable, guys. This one is very sticky. Maybe a little more flour. Call my dad. I haven't called my dad in like 2 years. When did you emigrate to the US? 1997, February 19th. I remember the day very clearly. It is seared into my memory. Yeah, June is not my birth month. Sorry to disappoint. You can call me June. You can call me whatever. I'll respond if I know you're referring to me. You can call me the spleen queen. I like that. Somebody DM'd me on Instagram and was like, spleen queen. I was like, yes. Thank you. I will take that crown. Will you be making a sauce with the little muffins? I don't think so. I don't think so, but I think what I was going to do was chopping up some of that really sad Crayola-esque cheese and just letting it crisp up in the cast iron pan. You can make some cheese crunchies. Just snack on it. I'm actually not very hungry right now because today, like at 4 p.m., I did my usual thing where I ate like a horse. I literally put dried oats, like instant or old-fashioned, doesn't matter, whatever I have on hand. I put like a cup of dried oats in a bowl. And then I'll drizzle a tablespoon of honey over it, and I'll just mix it with a spoon until the honey is like distributed around the oats, and it kind of starts to clump because honey is sticky. And I eat it like a horse. I feel like a horse when I'm eating it. It kind of brings me a sense of serenity, but it's basically like uncooked oatmeal, and it completely destroys my digestive tract because it bloats me up so bad. But if you like eating dirt-like things, which I do, like lentil mush is another example, dry oats and honey. Get some really good honey, like not that honey bear shit. Get like local honey, where you can taste the flowers and the bees' butts, their furry little butts. And then mix that together really well. Don't make it too sweet, because that'll be too cloying. But like have just enough honey in there so that you taste the earthy creaminess of the oats against that kind of sweet, syrupy floralness of the honey. And for optimum pleasure, keep chewing it a little bit longer than you think you want to. Like just when you think you're about to choke because of how dry it is, go like 6 seconds beyond that. And just take it slow and feel like you're turning into a horse. And with that, I think now is the proper time to do our meditation. Deep breath in. That was great. All right, am I weird enough yet? Who has 3 horses? I actually hate June bugs. I will tell you that. Here are little buns. They're adorable, absolutely adorable. I don't know how long it's gonna take for them to like be ready, but I'm gonna put them on the stove here, and what we'll do is start cooking some toppings or maybe those cheese crunchies in our cast iron skillet, and then some of that heat will just like slowly flow over there. But yes, my story about June bugs is I worked on a farm for a summer in junior year of college, and I met for the first time in real life what June bugs are. And up until that point, a lot of people nicknamed me June bug. They would just call me June bug because why not? It's a thing. And I didn't know what they were, but it turns out they're these like really fat beetles. They're huge, they're kind of iridescent on top under the sunlight, and they're really noisy, and they're really dumb. And they will fly right into your face. More than once, I've been hit with a June bug, just like buzzed and fell in between my eyes, like right here. They must have target practice or something. But they'll hit me, and I'll be like, WTF was that? And they will fall to the ground, and I'll be like, oh, another dumb bug. And from that point on, I really didn't want to be called June bug anymore, because I mean, maybe sometimes I am that dumb, and that's why I don't want to be associated with them, because that is the truth, that sometimes I feel that dumb, but I would prefer other names if possible. No real point to that story. Just, this is what you came for, right? I think? You have 4 dogs, 4 cats, 3 horses, 2 goats, 2 alpacas. What are chooks? What are chooks? Are they chickens? The spleenies? Okay. Did you eat all of last night's pizza? Yeah, you were late, weren't you? Erin ate it for lunch. And I Instagrammed it. And it was really moist on the inside still, and it was actually really delicious, and we made something magical last night. So thank you to all of you who recommended that I be brave enough to experiment with a stovetop oven-free English muffin pizza that was semi-steamed. And thank you to the 80,000 comments about dipping it in balsamic. That was perfect. So I'm just going to slice up some of our imitation Italian cheese. I still refuse to acknowledge this as Italian cheese. It really just does not taste that good to me. But if this is Italian cheese, man, I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore. My worldview has been crushed, decimated, burned to ashes. We're just going to go in and let's hope it melts, because even if it is Crayola made to look like cheese, it should melt with enough time. But we'll see. We'll see if that's the case. Ooh, do we have an April in here? What do you season your cast iron with? Nothing. I don't do anything to it. I know a lot of people wash it, dry it, and then they put oil on it. I don't do that. I don't really wash it with soap unless something really gunky is happening in there, and most of the time I just use really hot water. Like my sink gets really hot, it will boil my hands if I'm not careful, and I will just rinse it off with hot water, really hot water, and I'll put it back on the flame to dry it out, and there will be still some residual oil from the cooking on there, and I'll just wipe it with a tiny piece of paper towel until the water's all absorbed for the most part, and I can use that paper towel to distribute the residual fat in there, and that's it. I don't want to waste cooking oil to season it. Junipers. I like juniper. I've been called juniper. Lauren calls me juniper sometimes. I have juniper berries. They taste very interesting. I'm not sure I like them, but they're not bad tasting. I highly prefer juniper over June bugs, if I have a choice in the matter. Again, you guys can call me whatever you want. This is melting. Not bad. Do you approve of junipers or spleenies? I mean, we are living in a democracy right now on our YouTube Live. You guys discuss it, and you guys peacefully come to a conclusion of what you want to be called. This is your name. It's not for me. This is your world that you're creating. So, where did you learn to be frugal? I grew up in a pretty low-income household, and Chinese immigrant parents, pretty frugal to begin with. Parents who lived through the Cultural Revolution in China, and when you've lived through places where you grew up not having enough things to eat, and you see your dad being really good at even getting like a dime shaved off that receipt. I remember there was one time I went to Kifu to shop with him, and we walked out of the store, and he was like, "Oh, they shorted me a dime, let's go back." And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Yes." And that was formative. There were other instances of such events that I think kind of stayed with me, formed me into who I am. I will no longer pick up coins on the street when I see them now. I've learned to let those things go, but there will always be a part of June that will desire that dime. Sometimes I'll pick it up and I'll save it in like a little coin pouch, and I'll just like redistribute it back to panhandlers. Or I'll just leave it. Somebody will find it, and people who need it will pick it up. I don't know. Depends on my mood. Who knows? I'm not the same person twice. Every day is a little bit different. Do you have siblings? Nope. It is a split. You guys, democracies are hard. We've learned that, haven't we? Democracies are very hard to come to a decision and be effective with. But nothing worth having is easy, I guess. Or is it the opposite? Or is everything worth having easy, actually, and we just overcomplicate it? The middle one, as you can see, is crisping up very fast, so I'm going to take it out. The center of my pan, and then shifting over there, is the hottest part. So we're gonna have to learn how to cook melting cheese on here effectively. I'm just gonna try to flip them all. The waxiness of the cheese, the Crayola aspect of the cheese is actually helping us right now, because it's actually staying, I mean, it's being misshapen, but it's kind of staying cohesive as one piece when I flip it. What are we gonna do with all this like runoff cheese grease? We should do something with that, shouldn't we? Cheesies. Alright guys, do we have any cheese nips lovers in the crowd? I know everyone loves Cheez-Its, but who likes cheese nips? Because I think I like cheese nips more than I like Cheez-Its. So, if there's any other unpopular opinion holders in the chat, let me know. This cheese will taste nice. I hope so. I really don't want just like crisped crayons. Yay! We got Nina on board with the cheese nips. Okay, Susan. Alright. If you have an apple, maybe a quick fondue dip. Ew, no. Sorry. Not into the fondues, guys. It's not into it. Chocolate fondue, cheese fondue, not into it. I'm really weird when it comes to my eating habits. I like my elements separate. So if you gave me a sandwich, I peel them apart and I eat each layer separately. Who can out-weird me now? Do we have any other sandwich assemblers in the crowd? White cheddar Cheez-Its for life. Those are pretty good. Yeah. Your whole family is Team Cheese Nips? Holy crap, I need to move to where you are. Where is Cheese Nip County? Your son says Cheese Nips are fake Cheez-Its? Wow, that hurts. That really hurts. I just find that Cheez-Its are a little bit more acidic than I like, you know? There's like a hint of almost like vinegary, hot sauciness that I just don't want in my cheese crackers sometimes. I just want like a nice, creamy, blandy dairy thing that kind of melts into a gluey, starchy chewing gum of sorts that slowly disintegrates and slides down my gullet as I make my way through the rest of the box. For those of you who are tuning in, I'm so sorry about the clickbait. This is not a Wild Wednesday. We are just melting cheese in a pan right now and creating a lot of smoke in my junior one-bedroom/studio apartment, and I'm sure I will be smelling this Crayola-like cheese for the rest of the night, which is, there have been worse smells. There have been lots of worse smells. You eat your Kit Kats layer by layer? Well, lucky you, we're going to do that tonight. Aaron's friend Brandon sent him home with some nice Japanese Kit Kats, and this is our last one. And Aaron was like, hey, why don't we eat this on your live stream later? So we will be deconstructing this, I don't read Japanese, but this looks like a little anko-filled pastry of sorts. So very excited to eat our last specialty Kit Kat. Thank you so much, Brandon, for sending those home with Aaron and sharing your delicious things in this very boring, scary, uneventful, and yet so eventful time. Are we all not so confused by this highly contradictory existence we're in right now? How is everything happening all at once and yet nothing is? I don't know, but I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit, and I'm going to wash my knife and board. And in the meantime, if you have any questions that I didn't answer because I can't read the chat while I'm thinking about things and saying bullshit, feel free to type it again. But it looks like you guys are chatting with yourself. I love this. You're free, kids. Go, party. I'll leave you alone.
What are we cooking today, dude?
Cheese. We're
Cheese.
Literally just cooking cheese.
Just cooking cheese. Are we going to share this now?
Yeah, if you want dessert first, sure.
Or are you going to use this for whatever you're cooking?
We are not melting it into the English muffins, no.
I don't know. That seems like something you might do.
Maybe for a future episode of Wild Wild Wednesdays where we're actually wild, but not today.
There you go.
Aaron! Hello, Aaron! What's up, my dude?
Hey, it's a
Juniper Spleeny party!
Juniper Spleeny party. Nice.
Okay, it's not matcha, just to let you know. Ooh! It is a white chocolate Kit Kat.
Just inhaling cheese fumes.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Japanese Kit Kat's the best.
It's like got layers of what I can only assume to be red bean based flavored. It's a little toasty. It's got that like nice commercial crackery wafery bit taste. that's like slightly cardboardy, but pleasant. Here's a look into the layer. Nicely imprinted with the aforementioned cardboardy wafer. Nice. Chocolate is nice and emulsified with a lot of soy lecithin, I'm guessing. Shall we listen to these cheese crunchies sing? Whoop. Well, that's disappeared into my keyboard forever. Are you also entertained? Have you tried Japan's Royce? Yes, Royce. Oh my lord, how do they make it so smooth, so melty, so silky? Such great pleasure. So expensive, so fancy. I've only had Royce because I think they once had it at like a fancy office gathering, and then I had it like free samples at their shop, and it was one of the most memorable samples I've ever had the pleasure of putting into my mouth. I am missing Japan more because of those Kit Kats, yeah, word. All those shops with all those Kit Kats, and you're just like, my favorite one was sake. The sake Kit Kat, if you ever see it, try it. Again, like I said, I don't drink, but if you put anything that's like beverage related in a dessert, 99% chance I will love it. What's the worst artificial flavor? Molly, Aaron will agree with you, it is banana. However, I'm actually a fan of banana, like artificial banana, juicy fruit gum. I love it. What is the worst artificial flavor? I gotta say, I kind of hate like the citrus artificial ones, like orange, but I like it in orange gummy bears, not very potent. But when it starts to taste like Ajax dish detergent, that kind of orange artificial flavor is a little gag worthy. Grape is gross. Grape soda, I might drink. Have you ever had Japanese grape soda? One of my formative food memories. My dad giving me a 100 yen coin. I push it into the vending machine. I press the grape soda. It drops down. I pop it open. It tastes like we just milked grapes and carbonized it, and it's like delightful. It makes me feel like I'm 12 years young again. So yeah, that's to say, if you ever find sake flavored Kit Kats or Japanese grape soda, you should try those. Could change your life, or you might hate it. Either way, you should try it because you'll die soon. And then you'll have died without trying the most disgusting and or delicious things. We're gonna fish these out. I'm going to turn my pan off, and I'm gonna take a look at my fridge and see what else we can put on these English muffins. Wow. Nice. They're like very thick Parmesan crisps. So thick. Plum wine, yes. Oh, wow. I once had a plum wine on a first class flight. The only first class flight, maybe? But yes, there was a first class flight that we took to Japan. And there was a plum wine on there. And that plum wine was the most refreshing, fragrant, attractive wine I've ever tasted. It is just delicious juice. Absolutely. I agree. It has been half an hour. We've gotten nothing done except to burn up my house with cheese fumes. It's not quite proofed yet. As you can see, it's not holding the shape of my fingers. If we're really impatient, what I can do is just put these in here and let them proof in here, but that might be bad because they might start to set the bottom of the dough, which hasn't quite gotten a chance to relax and expand yet, and then we'll just end up with like mochi bites that isn't mochi. But I was thinking, I have this pinch bowl of flour that I've had for the past 3 lives. It's probably disgusting and rife with a lot of bad bacteria. So why not just go ahead and make a terrible life decision, as I'm wont to do, and let's make a starter out of this flour, because I don't really want to toss it out, and I'll just bake the starter anyway. So if it turns really bad or it actually starts developing mold, we can just always toss it out later, but it'd be fun. We'll check back in 3 days. Maybe it'll be active. What do I want to put this in terms of jarrings? Lots of options. Lots of options. Many options. Maybe this one. This guy looks fun. Okay, we're gonna go in this guy. What I like to do when I make a starter is, obviously you should have a scale, because I like my starters to be 100% hydration, meaning same amount of water and flour by weight. What I like to do is measure the weight of this jar first, so then I know, without having to dump out all of my starter every day, how much is left in there. I'll just jot it on with a Sharpie. This tiny jar is 114 grams, for those of you who are wondering. So we will write 1, 1, 4. And I will write it over again because this is a very skinny Sharpie and it will probably wash off soon. Another thing that I recommend you do that I'm not doing right now because I'm only making bad decisions on this Wild Wednesday is that you sterilize your starter jars to eliminate all bad bacteria, but because we already have bad bacteria in our flour, why not just give it more bad bacteria? If I die by the end of this week, you'll know what happened if you watch this live. Anyway, 114 grams. There we have it. Now we're going to zero out our scale, and I will use my little darling spatula. For those of you who are wondering, this spatula is made by, you probably can't see this, Tovolo, T-O-V-O-L-O. A lot of their wooden handled spatulas have this nice curve to it, which I absolutely adore. I have a matching Halloween themed black cat one, bigger, also this curve. It just scrapes the edge of your bowl so nicely. They taper the ends of the spatula very nicely too, so that it's like just skinny enough so that it has enough structure to help you leverage your weight and your scrape, but still skinny enough to like grab everything instead of just passing over some of the batter. If you bake a lot, you know what I'm talking about, and if you don't, you're thoroughly bored, which I'm sorry. There is so little flour in here that it's hardly even registering in terms of the weight, but I think we have about 5 to 6 grams. So we'll just go in with 5 to 6 grams of water. Usually when you're making sourdough, you're aiming for an ideal temperature of 78 degrees Fahrenheit. That apparently is the optimal temperature at which all these nice little organisms get to jive with each other. My water's a little bit hot. I think it's like 82, whatever. Bad decisions only today. Be very careful. This is probably only going to be slightly more than a teaspoon of water. Yep, I think we're there. Alright guys, possibly the smallest batch of starter I've ever made. We're going to make sure that everything is nice and combined. We're going to go in with our Skelly Boy, and we're just going to mix until it's all cohesive. Splooshy, sploshy, tasty, yum. You probably won't see activity if you use clean flour and clean jar for a good 2.5–3 days. A lot of recipes I think including my own on delish, call for you to discard half of this amount in the first 2 days, but honestly, if you don't really care about precision, you don't need to discard it in the first couple of days. Just wait for it to start bubbling, and then you can start feeding it by discarding and refeeding with new flour and water. Sourdough does give you the best results if your variables are more controlled, but even if you don't control your variables, if you bake enough, you'll start noticing the rhythms of the rise and falls in your sourdough starter. And you'll just know with 80% certainty whether or not that'll leaven your bread successfully or not. Lots of mistakes, lots of unideal results in sourdough baking for beginners is not knowing what your starter should look like when you're using it. If your starter peaks, meaning it grows to its full potential and then it starts falling back down in terms of volume, that means that its activity levels are past its prime, and some of the yeast in there have started dying because they ran out of food. So that might be why your sourdough bread didn't rise as much as you wanted it to, and it was a little bit dense and bricky, and you were very sad, and you were like, I fucked this up, I don't know how to bake. No, it's not that. You just need to try a couple more times. That's it. Just practice. Don't be so hard on yourself, okay? The world is hard enough as is. It is your job to take care of yourself first and foremost. It is hard for us to remember that, but when you can remember it, be sure to be kind to yourself first. Yes, sourdough starter. How do you make your gluten-free sourdough starter? Basically the same thing that you saw me do, but the one that went in here, I actually cheated. I had a little bit of leftover gluten-free flour mix from like Bob's Red Mill, and I have this so the last time I worked at a restaurant, which is like 2017, I made a mistake measuring out brioche dough, and I didn't want to admit to anyone that I made that mistake, and I also didn't want to waste all the ingredients that I put into my mistake. So this yeast, sugar, flour mixture, which I no longer have the amounts to anymore, is from late 2017. I actually don't know if any of the yeast in here is viable or that active, but I've kept this mixture to not waste my mistake. I mismeasured it. I couldn't use it in the big batch of recipe anymore. And so I just put a little bit of my leftover Bob's Red Mill gluten-free flour, put a little bit of water, equal amount of water, and then splashed in some of this sugar, all-purpose flour, yeast mixture. And that's what was in my starter. It poofed, meaning some of the yeast was alive. And I left it out for a day and a half before I slid it into the fridge to just kind of capture that sourness. So it's not really a starter. It's actually just a sponge. And a sponge is basically when you add flour, water, a little bit of sugar, and yeast, and you wait for it to kind of bloom and puff, and that's a sponge. $9:38. Are we gonna bake these muffins? They don't look ready, man. I don't want to rush them. They are starting to get a little bit room temperature though. I'm missing out on some. Oh, are you guys talking about the vaccine now? Wow. Look at our little microcosm. Hi from Washington State. Man, you guys are so close to Salt and Straw. Eat some ice cream for me. How much is the vaccine in Australia? Don't tell me, I don't want to know. Come for the food, stay for the life advice / existential dread. Precisely. That is my essence. June, what are your earrings? I'm only wearing one. For those of you wondering why I only wear one earring, this got infected and closed up when I was still in college. I pierced it again. It closed up again. And I was like, you are trying to tell me that you don't want to be pierced. I respect that. So I haven't re-pierced it yet. I do want to get it pierced one day. Maybe I'll like pierce it beside the scarring point. One day, after this all ends, and we can go into shops again and not be afraid of killing other people and or killing ourselves. This other one that I'm wearing, I got in Beijing, actually, when I visited in 2012. I was there in China, in Xi'an, teaching for a year in 2011 and 2012. And then towards the end, I went to visit my family who live in Beijing, and I bought this earring. I haggled really hard with the lady for it too, I think. Just like, I know you're trying to rip me off because you can hear that I'm not from here anymore. She could hear the foreigner accent in my Chinese. But I drove a hard bargain. My mom was like, let it go, we'll just pay her. And I was like, no. We're gonna drive her down 20 more RMB. Tips for haggling, it depends on your country, depends on whether or not you know the language. If you really, really only half want it, just start walking away. Sometimes they'll chase after you and say, okay, I will give it to you for that price. But if you really want it, just ask yourself if it's worth the regret of not having it if you haggle too hard. Do you have any tattoos? I don't, not yet. But I do have this dream of getting a whole sleeve of hands. I'll just have like different positioned hands all down one arm. And then I was thinking on the opposite limb, on the opposite leg, I'll have like a whole leg of different birds' feet. One day. Composting in an apartment tips. I bring my compost to the farmer's market. I keep it in this brown cow yogurt container. It has a clear lid so that we don't mistake it for anything else and open it by accident. It's been in use for a long time because this yogurt expired June of last year. So maybe we've had it for like almost a year now. This is gonna have a birthday party coming up soon. Happy birthday, Daisy. And then what I do is I transfer it to a Ziploc bag and I freeze it. I try to like stuff as much as I can in here, leave a little bit of room, make sure it can zip, and then I freeze it. Especially in the summer, you really don't want just compost sitting out at room temp for too long. And then I'll bring it to the farmer's market, or there's several drop-offs near me in Astoria. I'll drop it off there. And because you froze it, by the time you like open the bag and you push it out, the bag will be mostly clean, which is amazing. I'll come home, I'll rinse it, and I'll keep using it until the seal kind of detaches and breaks, and then I move on. Gives these Ziploc plastic bags a few more lives, a few more rounds in this miserable existence. Aaron used to make fun of me. He's like, you know you're wasting energy freezing the compost? And I was like, yeah, but I also don't know how much this is helping in general. Like, I don't know what my impact is. So as long as it makes you happy and makes you feel better, just do it. Yeah, I mean, because I'm not actually doing the composting, I'm giving it to a farm or to a collection agency who then brings it to places that actually makes compost out of the food waste. I'm basically just preserving the food waste until I can load it off to proper agencies. So that's amazing that we have these services. New York City actually rolled out a home composting service where they gave you brown bins, but it was like a complete failure. The participation rate was so low. I honestly think it had to do with education and just the habit of not composting and people just not bothering with it. And also, COVID happened really soon after it was pushed out in all 5 boroughs, and like the city just shut down composting for a good half year, and it was really sad. And now we have all these plastic freaking brown bins that nobody uses, and it's just more trash. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, composting is great. You divert food waste from the landfill where it just goes to rot and die and commit to, contribute to the greenhouse gas emissions, whatever, not good for the earth, and you feed it back into the ground. Also, if you compost, please, please, please take the time to peel off your stickers. A lot of places don't want you to leave the compostable green bags around it because they're not actually going to decompose at a proper rate. It's going to hold back. And then the people who are processing your compost will then have to spend the time to peel the stickers off of your produce. All I'm saying is be a little bit more thoughtful and just like take 10 seconds and peel off your shit. And then I'll be so happy. You'll make me so happy. Guys, the pan is cool enough. I'm just going to transfer a little bibis on here, and I'll let them poof up a little bit in the still warm pan, and then we'll start warming it up. Yeah, the green bags don't really compost. I mean, they are technically biodegradable, but food waste will compost way faster than any manufactured biodegradable shit. All those plastic cornware, they don't get composted. All the plastic that keep insisting they get recycled, they actually don't get recycled anymore. Especially since, I think 2 years ago, China used to take a lot of the world's recycling plastics. They stopped taking it, and now we are literally just dumping plastic into the ocean anyway, so... Not trying to make anyone feel bad. I still use plastic shit. It's just unavoidable sometimes. Or it is avoidable, but it'll just bring you so much anxiety and guilt and all of that. And I would just say take it easy, but know that all these things that are manufactured to supposedly help the earth actually don't help the earth, and the only thing that will help the earth is to reduce your consumption of all things. But at this point, do we really want to save the earth anymore? I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, let it burn. Start over. Blank slate. What are we even saving anymore? One thing about starters is I like to label the jar with the start date and with the amount of flour and water that went in there so that you have a track record of when you started this. Include the hour. This is especially helpful if you keep a feeding log. If you record, I fed this around 9:30 p.m., then I can keep a watch on it, and I can start to learn by observing tomorrow at 9 a.m., what does it look like? Has it already peaked? Do I already see residual slime, starter slime, that have started to decrease? It's really helpful if you start observing your baby to learn when it rises and when it falls. And starters will also depend on ambient temperature and other stuff. What flours you use, what kind of chemicals were in your water. A lot of people use filtered water. I've never bothered. They come in plastic. I just used New York City tap. It's not let me down yet. Who knows? Oh, where's my tape? Where is my tape? Erin, have you seen my tape? I have this piece of tape that I miscalculated and cut, and I didn't need. It looks like it's still sticky. We'll just cut off a piece of it with this scissor that really doesn't cut properly anymore. Jesus Christ. All right. What did we say? 9:30 and about 6 grams all-purpose, 6 grams water, and today's date is March Oh my god. March 10th. March 10th. 2021. Here we go, guys. So exciting. What a wild Wednesday. Making starter from bacteria-laden pinch bowl all-purpose flour. Check back tomorrow for more exciting content on the developments of our starter. Yes, I am trying to make English muffin by using my leftover youtiao dough. This is the final batch of dough. It is coming up to 50 minutes. I'm so sorry. Let's turn up the heat just a little bit, start warming up the pan. I'm hoping to get you guys out of here in the next 15 minutes. Yes, I do have a junk drawer. It's the one closest to the fridge. There. Aaron berates me every 2 months or so about throwing all the shit out of there. And I'm like, one day, it will come in handy. That little purple ribbon, it will come in handy. Did you sprinkle cornmeal? No. Should I have? Oops. I'm actually not trying to cook them just yet, but I think by turning on the pan, I will start cooking them. I wanted to use some heat from the pan to try to help them proof a little bit more, because they're still a little underproofed. I'm not trying to get rid of you guys. I just feel like having a live stream that lasts over an hour is unnecessarily self-indulgent. Not to say that this whole thing isn't self-indulgent. Come on. Nez! Yes, baby, you should eat ice cream. What flavor are you having? Give us all the details. You should send me a picture, Nez, of you eating ice cream. It would make me very happy. Where from whom did you learn how to cook? Honestly, my parents made a lot of stir fries just to put food on the table. It's like the de facto way of Chinese cooking. They also made a lot of meat soups, which is my habit of making bone broth. And then you just eat the stir fries and the bean soup with a lot of rice, a lot of fish broth, a lot of fish soup, a lot of offcuts. You know, low-income family, you make do with cheaper things. And no complaints. Sometimes the food was meh, but I was never hungry. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for keeping me fed. It's hard bringing a kid up in this fucked up world. They did it. I'm alive. 31 and still kicking, except this knee. I don't know what's going on with this knee, guys. I can't really bend it. I woke up and it happened. This is what it means to be 31, I guess. I've really aged at least 5 years in the past 12 months. Anybody else? Thank you so much, Nats, for your ice cream pics. Hey, Jeff. You worry about my posture? Parents, always worrying about stuff like that. You should know, as a parent, you gave birth to a child. You brought them into this world that you knew was not good. And the only way to get out of it is to die. Now, depending on your luck, you may die peacefully, or you may die tragically. But in the end, we all die. And as a parent, you did this to us. You! But no, thank you for not fucking us up completely. It is a hard task to give birth to a human and to make sure that they are not awful human beings, of which we have a lot. But thankfully, I think we have just enough to tide us over that we're not like complete barbarians. But every single day that goes by in this pandemic, I'm like, yo, we all got to go. We got to go now. Yeah, millennials, we need to stop having kids, guys. What are you doing? Just go adopt some fur babies. They're so much cuter, and they don't really cry that much. And it's like, you still have to pay for their healthcare just like you would for a kid, but it's much less commitment. They'll die in 12 to 18 years. You get to start anew, you get to grieve, and you get to heal your grief by doing it again. You have a kid and they die, you will never get over that grief. Ever. It will scar you because a part of you, literally a biological part of you died. A piece of you died with them. I can't imagine being a parent. It's so much responsibility and so much pain. So on the one hand, I'm criticizing you for being a parent, but on the other, I'm like, kudos to you. It's all a mixed bag, guys. I'm not actually criticizing you for being a parent. I'm just saying, shit's fucked up. I don't know what we're gonna do about it, but shit is fucked up. I just know that I'm not responsible enough to give birth to a child and to not fuck them up, because I know with certainty I will. And I really don't want to do that. I can already fuck myself up enough, you know? Like, I don't really need to do that to another human being. I have this. That's enough to work with. These are gonna be dead ass English muffins. They're not risen at all. I'm rushing things. It's a wild, wild Wednesday of wild, wild mistakes. But maybe we eat a cheese crisp now. You know what I should have done? I should have melted black pepper when we were cooking this. Why didn't I do that? Did any of you make that suggestion? Y'all saw me do stupid shit and you let me do it. I don't know if that's irresponsible of you or true love. I don't know anymore. Holler 51. How's life at 51? Tell me, is it worth it? Should I just continue eating all the cheese that I want and like not wait around for that much longer? Or should I try to take more care of myself? I'm debating. I'm trying to look into the future. It's kind of murky. You need some egg with your tiny muffins? Are they better cooked or still crayons? They still have a little bit of that wax taste, not gonna lie, but they are way better. At least texturally, they're more pleasant. Yes, it's worth it. 52 in 6 days. Yo, happy early birthday. What kind of cake are you gonna eat? Better be a good cake. Ooh, quail egg. Yes. Quail egg. Wow, I've never had a quail egg and I've always wanted to have a quail egg. I've also never had an ostrich egg, but I really want to try that too. And I'm not sure why we just turned into a ASMR channel. Wild, wild Wednesdays. When you turned 40, it was like warranty expired. Oh shit, my warranty expired when I was 28. What are your favorite nonprofits so we can send money there? Honestly, I don't have any favorites. I would say right now, just donate to your mutual aid groups. They're doing a lot of the work. Right now, in the middle of this pandemic, I still feel like a lot of people are not making rent. A lot of people are not eating. There's like a straight farm to family distribution of food line, like 2 blocks from where I live. That shit was going on all day. I went out at 9 a.m. I came back at like 4:30, 5 p.m. Line was still around the block, wrapped. They've been giving out food for 8 hours. That is how dire the food needs are right now. So if you can support your local mutual aids, start with your own community first. And then donate, if you have the funds, literally donate to whatever your heart desires. If you have the ability to give to whatever makes you happy, and give to whatever you care about, because just caring about other people is awesome, and just nurture that. What is an aardvark cake? There are community fridges in New York, yeah. I'll like take one of my long walks, which happens only like once every 2 months now, and I'll find some. I'll happen upon some. I actually live near this community, excuse me. I live near this community garden, and they have a little food box. It's not really a fridge, so nothing perishable goes in there. But I dropped by and there's like Girl Scout cookies in there. Dang. Fancy ass community fridge. They're turning golden. Look. I can't promise if they're cooked, but babies. They're so cute. Oh, adorable. So adorable. I like to flip them more often so that this way, especially if they're like not fully proofed yet, you give them a chance to start proofing on both sides as they cook. If they're already fully proofed, I wouldn't disturb them this much because, especially if they're bordering on proofed / overproofing, once they hit the heat, they will start overproofing, and the more you flip it, the more likely it is that you'll destroy that aerated, yeasted structure in the middle. So only because these aren't fully proofed, they're underproofed, I know that for sure because the dough wasn't even that warm to the touch. I'm flipping them often so that I'm trying to kind of proof them as they bake, which is not the way you should be doing shit, guys. Don't do this. Have patience. Plan out your meals so that you don't end up with wild Wednesdays.
I'm here because I promised Jeff I would show up.
Yeah, Jeff is watching. Do you want to try a cheese crunchy?
Cheese crunchy. Didn't we just have cheese crunchies recently?
Yeah, for one of the budget eats.
Hell yeah.
Do you want to douse some hot sauce?
Cheese crunchies covered in hot sauce?
That's right.
Was it my birthday?
Yeah, every day's your birthday, guys. Every day we are a whole new person. Therefore, every day you should celebrate your birthday.
Our local food bank is fat AF. YouTube thought to censor that.
Why are you censoring this, guys? You approved it?
AF.
You approved it?
Yeah.
Soy boy alert, Naz says.
Soy boil. You know what? She's not wrong.
You are aunts and uncles to 3 baby muffins. Fun fact, up until like high school, I used to say aunts, like aunts.
A lot of people say it like that.
What do you say? Do we have an aunts?
Ants.
Yeah, but why is it ants? There's an... Did we just cut out?
I think we're back again. I'm gonna give it more crunch.
We like the honest Aaron. Thanks for the crunch. You're welcome, guys. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks.
Or are they called 1,000-year eggs if they're not? Yeah, they're just they're week to month old eggs.
I don't actually think their Chinese name means thousand-year eggs. I don't even think the Chinese name means century eggs. I think they're called rubber eggs. Pidan is what I know them as because the whites turn quite rubbery. I don't know actually why they are called century or thousand-year eggs in English. If you know, let us know down below. Teach me something. These are pretty solid, I think. I'm gonna turn off the heat. What do you want to eat your muffins with?
Are they sweet or savory?
Savory. Hot sauce. Get
Yes.
out your favorite hot sauce.
Okay.
We're gonna put some cheese crunchies on top. What else can we put on there? They're so cute. Jesus Christ. All right, guys. Youtiao dough also makes noodles, also makes stove pizza, also makes English muffins.
Is this Frank's? It doesn't have a label.
It is Frank's. I took off the label for video purposes. In Georgia, I say ain't. Crumpets or English muffins? Have you ever prepared Moroccan food? No. And we were gonna go to Morocco one year, but we decided we overbooked our itinerary and we skipped Morocco, and I still regret it. I really want to go to Morocco. Question, what was Aaron doing in China when you met him? We were both on a teaching fellowship. Okay, I'm gonna pierce the smaller one. It feels very, very doughy, guys. Like, supremely doughy, which means it's dense, which means it's underbaked, which means I'm gonna love it, because I actually love underbaked bread. I think it's because I grew up with like Chinese style steamed buns, and all the breads that I've had were kind of like that kind of dense, fluffy, but like dense bread. And so I always like, I mean, I'm a fan of like crunchy sourdough, crusty sourdough now, but dense, chewy bread that's slightly underbaked will always have a nice little place in my heart. Yeah, Claire, doughy bread for the win, as we millennials like to say.
You want to see what crazy hot sauce I'm doing?
Sesame oil?
Sesame oil, Frank's.
It's hot. It's doughy. Let's toast it a little more. Let's make Aaron hot sauce. Use a fork to cut them? Yeah, you're right. Pizza bagel! Yes, hot sauce pizza bagel. So I'm gonna pierce another one open, and I'm just gonna toast the inside so that it can cook a little bit more and faster, because I'm going over my time limit. Are you impatient, Aaron?
I'm just seeing what they look like on the other side.
Stabby do. You can see how doughy and underbaked it is. And honestly, every time, like, the American standard for baked goods says it's underbaked, that is my ideal texture, actually. I love underbaked shit. It is so hot. I'm gonna have to stab it and show you guys. All right, we got a little bit of like English muffin.
Oh, they're mini English muffins.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
That honestly does kind of have that interior. It smells good. Are we gonna make a sandwich with the cheese crunchies?
Yeah. Or you can have a little crostini. Depends on how bougie you want to go, you name it differently. Right?
Cheese crunchy English muffin versus crostini.
It's all about how you package it and market it. It's all the same shit, but you slap a different label and name on it, and all of a sudden people are going crazy over it. The human psychology, man. Weak. Weak ass. And that is how capitalism sells you shit. It's the same shit, but they'll call it by a different name. And we'll fall for it.
What dough is this made of?
The youtiao dough.
Oh man, you've got so much mileage out of that dough. I thought we finished that with the pizza.
No, we still got a little bit left.
Wow.
I love this. My favorite part of bread, especially soft bread, is this little part that like hangs out around the crust, where it's like dried out, but it's not dried out. It's like still so soft. I'm gonna eat this.
Go for it. Can I have a sandwich of my own?
This one is so cute.
I'm gonna do this.
This is cheese grease in the pan. I'm just trying to soak up all the cheese
Yeah,
grease.
get all the cheese grease. Oh,
It's
that's
hot. hot.
Yeah.
You gotta let it sit, dude. Let it sit. You're not me. All right, guys. I think it's time for me to taste one. It is delightful. It is underbaked, and it is everything that I want in a dough. It is hot, piping hot. The crust, golden, crackly. Why is it so hot? Why does it have to be this way? You know what? If I had planned this out better, I would have mixed in everything bagel seasoning into the dough last night. And today we would have had everything bagel, seasoned, flavored, baby English muffins with cheese crisps and hot sauce. But oh well, I didn't think ahead. Now we just have Wild Wild Wednesday trash food. Are you gonna dip it? Sesame oil and hot sauce?
Sesame. This is Frank's sesame oil and Sichuan chili oil, or not Sichuan chili oil. Huajiao. Yeah. Peppercorn.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's like a little burger.
Mmm. That's really fun. A little crunchy English muffin cheeseburger.
It's so crunchy.
Literally a cheeseburger.
It's like lightly crispy crunchy on the outside, and the inside is like underbaked but not raw. And it's like so nicely dense. Not gummy because it's not wet enough to be gummy.
Oh, try that too.
It's just like, if you've ever had Chinese mantou, just like steamed bread. I'm gonna try one with the cheese crisp.
And my hot sauce.
First, your hot sauce is gonna wreck my skin, dude.
It's just Frank's. It's not real hot sauce. It's the weakest hot sauce. Tastes good though.
My autoimmune system is weak.
Perfect match then.
Mmm. Hell yeah. Dude. Soft English muffin with a crispy, crunchy cheese crisp. Aaron's hot sauce concoction.
Oh, you're doing it.
Ooh. My God. It's like North American junk food flavor profile from the Franks and the cheesy, crisp Cheez-Its reminiscent with like a Chinese style sesame oil angel floating above you in the landscape and this like very delightfully comforting, dense, warm, half steamed English muffin with a crispy outside. Would make again. This youtiao dough, I feel like we should make it again just so we can see what else we can make with it.
Everything.
Literally everything.
Cheers. Final English muffin. Cheers.
Cheers.
Do you want to dip?
I want to dip a little, yeah. What's your grade? The people are asking.
I love this dough. It's like, it works for so much. I don't think it's as mind-blowing as the pizza was yesterday, but this is a bit simpler. But I like that it can be used as sort of like an hors d'oeuvre, like a party hors d'oeuvre for when the world starts having parties again in 2056, for pretty much anything. I could see sweet applications for this too. Think about maybe some like jam or fresh compote on.
I hope this has been wild enough for you. Happy Wednesday. Let's all close out with one more prayer that Thursday, or if you're already in Thursday, that the rest of your Thursday will be pain-free, relatively, and that you'll eat something that brings you a sense of comfort. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.